Okay, finally, welcome everyone. Good morning. My network was kind of sluggish in bringing me up to the live video. So, and I've missed you all. How many of you missed me? So, let me know in the comment section. Yeah, okay, quick one. We'll just jump into what we have today. I can see one person present in the class. Can you say hi in the comments so I can know who is present? If you're here, please kindly say hello or hi in the comment section so I can know who is present in the class. Okay, we'll be moving forward. So I'll just quickly share my screen to the Figma environment and we can get started in what we have today. So, good morning. Uh, okay, let me share the entire window. Sharing the entire window in the case whereby I need to do something in the next browser, in the next tab, in the next tab in the browser, we can all be together and experience what I'm doing. So moving forward, okay, I have two people present in the class. So if you're just coming in, just say hello so I can know the two diligent and dedicated students that I have in the class. I'll be quickly moving over to my Figma file where we have our last project. So you might be asking, where are these pictures coming from? Remember, we went to Pinterest in our previous class and we opened a lot of coffee inspirational images that other designers have uploaded. So I just copied them into my Figma file. And in the last class, I taught you how to copy. So I believe that is not going to be a problem or a struggle for you. Good morning, Precious Emeka. Good morning, Amara. Nice to have you in the class and you're welcome. So quickly, I'll be moving over to my Figma file for us to kickstart what we have today, which is creating our splash. We've created a splash screen in the previous class. So this time around, we'll be creating onboarding screens. And I'm of the belief that you people in from the previous class to now, you must have tried out your own splash screens and tested a lot of things. So if you have any question from your testing and experience, you can just drop it in the comment section and we will attend to it later. But in the case of no question, I'll be moving over to my Figma file for us to kickstart our onboarding design. So because I have a lot of things scattered and clustered in my screen, I will just pick out what we did the other time. I'll drag it out so that I will know that here is just for inspiration. So I'll just I'll select all these things at once and move them up. So if you're confused how I made the selection, I tapped my mouse, held down my keypad and dragged. So as you're dragging, it's selecting everything the mouse is coming across. So the direction in which you're dragging the mouse will be selecting everything in that path. So that is that. But remember that this is our frame, the one we are working with. So let me just bring it up a little. Okay, let me just bring it up a little. So look at the frame Cynthia Coffee that we created in our previous class. And next is to create an onboarding screen. So what we have here are samples of onboarding screen. We have this one. This one is an onboarding as a button icon, but we won't go into that right now. So I'll be using this other one as a sample. So I will drag it out so that it will be closer to where I'm working. Now we have this. So it entails that we need to create another frame that this particular design will be built upon. So I told you that frame is like creating a plot of land. This plot of land is currently housing the splash screen. So the next one should be housing this onboarding screen. So I could duplicate this one, Control D to duplicate. I could duplicate and remove the things I don't want. So I have the rectangle removed. So I'm going to have this image also removed. Sorry, Control Z. So inside the splash screen, I'm going to select only the image so that only the image will be removed. So I have the image removed. Now we have, in this sample, we have an image. So this coffee, this is an image of a coffee on a table that has leaves around it. So it can be tricky, but it's all part of being a designer. So I'm going to go to my Pinterest and know if I can see this particular image there. So with that, I will just move over to my Pinterest tab. I'm sharing my whole browser, my whole Microsoft Binge Drive browser. So I'm of the belief that you are seeing what I'm currently doing. Um, okay. I just came back to the live chat to ensure that it's still going on so that it doesn't happen like the other day where I was just talking to myself and nobody was in class. So, quick one, I'll just quickly search cup on a wooden table. Let me see what it gives me first. So on Pinterest, it's showing me all this. So this one is kind of close to what I would like. I'll click on it to know if it will pop up other images that I could use. So there are sometimes I can be so adamant. I'll continue searching. I continue searching till I find that particular image, but it takes a lot of time, and we don't have that in this class. So you can see what is happening here, how people used motion graphics to achieve this. It's very nice. You can download it as a video. You can download it as a video, and if you are using the paid version of Figma, you can implement this video in your designs. So to move forward and not waste any time further, this one is close to it too. I don't know if I should use this other one or if I should use this one. Okay, let's use this one for now. We still have many other um, onboarding page to design. So now I'm having this. So I'll just copy this image. I'll copy the image and come back to my Figma file. So I'm coming back to my Figma file. I'm going to click and paste. So I have this now. I'm going to drag it into. So I've dragged it into this particular splash screen. So if I blind this splash screen to ensure that that thing is inside it, you see that yes, it is inside the splash screen. But also, you can see that here we have this image upwards. So I'll click on this image and kind of also reduce it. And now listen attentively. Now remember that I talked about the move to and also the scale to. Let me hide this so you can see my screen. So here we have the move to, we have the scale to. Now, I told you that the move to is used to move things around in your Figma environment. Now, I want to reduce the size of something. By default or by, let's say, training or the way your brain would work, you might come and start reducing. Yeah, you can see it reducing. And that's because of the Figma's new feature, where Figma has noticed that people use the move to reduce the size of an image. While initially there's some Figma version for people using desktop Figma version and that have not yet upgraded or updated to the latest version. The scale to this scale to if you click on it K, the major purpose of it is to reduce the size of an object. But I guess Figma found out that people were still making a lot of mistakes with that. They had to find a way so that even if someone uses the move tool, it can still work. But that is now my move tool is active. I'm trying to use the move tool to reduce this, and it's working. Why? Because I have the aspect ratio, this unlock aspect ratio is locked. But if it's not locked and I try, I'm losing that image. So Control Z. What I'm trying to say is that if you are trying to use the move tool to reduce the size of an object, ensure that the aspect ratio is locked. If it is not locked, kindly respect yourself and use the scale tool. The scale tool is made size. If you use the move tool, now let me bring this image out of Figma, out of this frame, so that you can see what I'm saying properly. So I have this now. I want to reduce the size of this image. Currently, I'm using the move out aspect ratio. So as I'm reducing the size of this image, can you see that I'm losing the element of this? In fact, I've lost this image. And then if I'm increasing it, I'm losing the main content, because the move tool is not made for reducing the size of anything. The move tool was made to move things around. But if I'm using the scale tool, let me activate it by clicking K. So once I click K, now you can see that my icon has changed, telling me that what is active now is the scale tool. If I use the scale tool to reduce this object, you can see that everything inside this image is still there. The only thing reducing is just the size of the image. But when I'm using the move tool, everything was disappearing. Then I'm of the belief that Figma noticed that people were just making this mistake repeatedly. So they decided to add this new feature called lock aspect ratio, whereby that if this aspect ratio is locked together and I mistakenly or I'm too lazy to change to scale tool and I decide to use the move tool to reduce a size of an object, it will still reduce. So what I'm saying in general is that if you want to reduce the size of an object or an image or the size of anything in Figma, ensure you use the scale tool. If you are too lazy to use the scale tool, ensure that your move tool, if you're using the move tool, the layout is in aspect ratio. It helps contain the image and ensure that the image is not lost. The only thing reducing is the length and the breadth, or the length and the width of that image. So thank you very much. So now I want to reduce this. I'm going to use my scale tool. So I'm having this. You can see that this place is darker. And what I'm going to do to create something like that is to create a rectangle. So I'm going to put a rectangle inside of this, my frame. So now that I have a rectangle inside of this frame, let me blind it to ensure that everything is inside it. So you can see that it's correct. The plot of land is accommodating everything I put inside it. So for this rectangle now, I'm going to give it a gradient fill so that I'll have a light black and a dark black. So on the fill of this rectangle, the rectangle is inside. Okay, let me change this name of this screen to onboarding one so that we don't confuse. So I'm having onboarding screen one. So inside onboarding screen one, I'm having access to the rectangle inside it, and I'm clicking on the field property. I told you that whenever you activate something, the property by the left, by the right is the property of that thing that is currently activated. So I'm not going to go for a solid color. I'm going for a gradient color. And for this gradient color, I'm going to reverse it. Sorry. Yeah. I want the down part to be darker. So for this down part now, I'm going to choose a black. I can't see what I'm doing, so I'm going to drag this thing out so I can see what I'm doing. Also drag this one out so that what I'm doing can be visible to me and I can see when I'm making a mistake. Then for this black color, I am having it as this. I increase the opacity. The one I chose before, look at the one, it has a 20% opacity. So I drag it to 100. Then this other one, this other color, uh, so I'm having this. So now that I have these two color stops, you can say I don't have any D9 again. What I'm having is 00000. But here you can see that this place is darker. So I'm going to move this up. Can you see what is happening? I'm just dragging it up so that I can have that dark thing. Can you see? If you want the whole black thing to cover up the frame, but that's not what I want. So I'm going to stop at where I feel like it's okay and I don't want it to overshadow the whole thing. So now we have this. Then let me change the opacity to something like 88 and know if it is good. Okay, you can see that 88 is not good because it's showing that thing. So 100 is the best at this point to give me what I want. And voila, we have something similar to what we are trying to achieve. So now that we have this is settled. The next thing is to bring the test. The test: brew your perfect coffee and discover rich aromatic coffees made just the way you love, from bold espresso to creamy lattes. So this is the next thing for us to do to create the same thing. Voila. So if your hands are not too busy, clap for yourself. So the next thing is to write the text, brew your perfect coffee. So I'm going to activate my text tool, tap on it, then come to the frame and tap. So you can see that it's blinking already. So I'm going to write brew your perfect cup. So I know you can see, but it's writing, but let me drag it back to position it properly on the frame. Okay, so another thing is that this text is too big for our frame. So what we're going to do is, first of all, we're going to change the font family. There's something I missed out in our first class where I was talking about the font family. Most times you see the word typeface. Typeface, like type. What type of this? Like type and then face. Typeface is another name for font family. So someone can ask you what is the typeface you are using. You can see that the current typeface of this text is Pacifico. Pacifico is the typeface. So if you don't get what I'm saying, let me type it out again. I'm saying that whenever you come across the word typeface, it's referring to the family of that font. So currently, now that I've changed it, the typeface of this font is called Overpass. The font type is called regular. The font type is now bold. The font type is now light italics. So uh, it's the font family can be called the font family, and it can also be called the typeface. But the font type is the kind of child under that family. So currently, the type of child under this overpass family is light italic. I can change it and say I need your child called extra bold italic. So now I have a child of this overpass family called extra bold italics. So I believe that has clarified that. So coming back to this, I don't want it to be yes. Now this brings me to another topic under text. So when I said you should research more about the elements of design, I don't know if you went this deep into it or you just went on the surface level. When we talk about types of fonts, we have different categories of fonts. We have script. Script is a kind of font that is like this, like all this aka handwriting kind of thing. You can say that this is a script font. Pacificto is also a script font. Then we have another, okay, let me just ask you to write it down and research more on it. So we have types of fonts, type categories of fonts. It's not type, categories of fonts. We have the script font, we have the sans script font, we have the slab font, we have the display display handwriting font. So the assignment basically is for you to go and research and write down the different categories of fonts and how to identify them. So that's going to be our assignment. And remember that I told you guys I'm taking track of my assignment, and the day of reckoning will be coming where I will ask, where is my assignment? So don't think I've forgotten about it. So we have different categories of fonts, the Sanskrit, the um, script, the slab script, the sans serif. We have the serif fonts. So all these things, I would love you. The title of the assignment is the different categories of fonts. So go deep and learn them and how to identify them and when to use each one for what. So for the purpose of what we are designing here, I think I like this Badrook. As you can see in this Cynthia, this thing, what we use there is called a script font, because it's anything that looks like all this handwritten, curvy, this thing, it's called script font. We have cursive fonts. So just go into these categories of fonts and do your assignments, and you'll have a better overview of what I'm saying. So for this design, we have this, and we have the font size to be, let me go with 36. So currently now, the middle of the frame. And remember that the text is what is highlighted. Thereby, the properties of the text is what is being displayed here. So I'll just click Align Horizontal Center, and Figma will align it to the center of the frame. So we have here Brew Your Perfect Coffee. Then also, this font family or the font typeface, it has only two children. It has regular and it has bold. And I want bold. Also, the we have what we call character spacing or word spacing. Character spacing, you can see that here we have brew, we have all this space before your, then we have all this space before perfect, we have all this space before cup. I don't want that. So here is where you adjust letter spacing or character spacing. So let's do -12 and see what happens. You can see how -12 jumped them together. Let's do -8. Um, I think the problem is from this, like having trying to adjust them. It's adjusting the letters between B and W, the letter between Y and U, the letter between P and T. It's not adjusting the spacings between each words. So let me change to a different family and know if the family will give me what I want. So you can see for other families, their wordings are closer than that other one we are using. So I'll go with Poppins. So you can see how Poppins in this family, each word is closer to the next. So they are too close right now. So I'll just take it back to 0. And this is giving me exactly what I want. So these are the things you observe when using a particular typeface or font family. If you don't understand what I just did, we'll watch the video and then you see that the other fonts, the brew, the your, the perfect, and the cup, they have these permanent spacings between them. So no matter how I was trying to bring them a little closer, it was affecting the words as a unit and not everything. So the spaces between them were just permanent, and I don't want that. So I had to change to the Poppins family, and the Poppins family gave me what I wanted without that spacings that the other family was giving me. And now that the Poppins family has given what I wanted, I don't have the need to, okay, let's do -2 and see what happens. So you can see. So depending on how close or how separated you want your wordings to be, you are free to tailor it to that taste for now. Because once you've gotten a hang of doing this manual, I would introduce you to the standard that Figma and every developer uses to do their design to come out perfectly. So you can't just be going freely the way we are currently doing it. I'm giving you the liberty to play around, because for your creativity to flow, you have to learn how to do it from scratch and play around with it before you step into the professional way of doing it. So right now we're just playing around. I'm trying to teach you and make you familiar and acquainted with the Figma environment and how to tweak things to perfection, or just for you to get a hang of it. So right now we have this, and under the Poppins family, we're having Poppins, this. But if I click only these Poppins now, watch. Here I have all these other variations of Poppins. Here I have other variations of Poppins. So when I click only the Poppins, only this normal Poppins has this, and it's not giving me what I want. So I'm going to come back here and go for Poppins medium. Mhm. So let me zoom out and ensure that what I'm doing is okay. But the size is too big, so I need to reduce the size to a 32 and also align it to the center. So now that I've aligned my text to the center, I'll have to bring it down because I don't want it to be overlaying on top of the image. Uh-huh. So we're having this. So you can see how Figma, the red line, Figma is telling me this place is a perfect place to place it. So Figma is giving me an alignment to show me that, okay, this place is a perfect place for you to put your text. So now that we have this brew your perfect coffee, okay, brew your perfect cup, sorry. Um, so we have the next test that say discover rich aromatic coffees made just the way you love, from bold expressions to creamy lattes. So what I'm going to do is I'll just duplicate, Control D to duplicate, or you hold your Alt key and drag, and you have a duplication. So I'm just going to say discover rich, aromatic coffees. So you can see that the text is too big. So I'll just click and reduce the size. So I'm going to go with 16 for now. Let me write my text out first, and then I can start tailoring it the way I want. So I'm having go with your rich aromatic coffees, made just the way. So you can see that the text is getting longer. So what I'll just need to do is to just hit enter to bring it down to the next line. So made the way you love, from bold espressos, espressos to creamy lattes. And we'll have a full stop. So what I will need to do now is to click and then align it to the center horizontally, and it's aligned. But when you are designing, what's it called, onboarding screen, I prefer having, currently, this particular group of text, the one that is highlighted, you can see here that it's telling us that it is aligned to the left. So let's click align center and see what happens. So if you click align center, you can see that everything is in center. Then if you click align right, you can see that it has moved to the right. So I want it to be aligned to the center. And also if it's too long, what I just need to do is just, you can see how the step, it has broken it and making it look more better and more distinct. So I like having my uh it's a general thing, but you should also be aware of it, having it well aligned and centered. And you can see the steppings. This first line is longer, followed by the second line, so it makes it beautiful and looks better. So I'll just move it to the top. So I'm having this. Then you can see that this is 32, this is 16, the font size. Okay, so the next thing we have is to create this thing that shows us that we are currently in the first onboarding screen. When you scroll or slide, you're in the second one, you're in the third one, and the rest of it. So what we need to do is I'm going to create a circle. So for this circle, I'll hold down my shift key. Remember, I want a perfect circle. So I'll hold down my shift key, and I have my my circle. So now that I have my circle, I have this, and then um okay, you can see that the star we have here shows that this one is bigger than the rest of the other ones. So what I need to do is I'm going to duplicate first of all. If you check other people's design, you can see that it's always these kind of things have different styles. Okay, let's check another one and see how they did it in theirs. Okay. Okay, you can see that in this particular one, they didn't create that. Then let's check this other one. Okay, you can see what I'm trying to see. You can see the different styles, how this one was designed. When it's in the current one, it becomes a rectangle. When it's not, it becomes a circle. So these things have different designs and the application, how they intend for it to be displayed. So what I'm just trying to say is that this particular style is the style we have in this our sample, and that is what we are trying to recreate. So I'll just reduce this one to 12. Uh, so I will link them together. I don't want to waste much time. So I'm having this. Then let me reduce this one again. So I'm having this at 18. Then remember that this one has a fill and a stroke. So what I'm going to do now is to give it a stroke. So the stroke is black and our background is black, so we can't see it. So we need to make the stroke white so that we'll be able to see it. And also, you can see that this stroke is having, there's no space between the stroke and the fill. There's no space between the stroke and the fill. But watch this one that we have here. This one that we have here shows that there's a space between the fill and the stroke, showing that this one was created by with two circles. This one was created by putting two circles together, not through this method that we are trying to do. So through this method we are trying to do, we are going to have this, but there's no spacings between it. But how the original one was created is by this. They have a circle, then the circle has a stroke, so we have this, a circle with a stroke, but Control D to create another circle. So we have two circles now, but this other circle was reduced. So this other circle was reduced. So we're having this. So let me hold both of them together and align it to the center. So you can see that they're not even equal. So I need to make it equal. So what I'm going to do is to delete this one. This one is a size of 18. So Control D, I've created a new circle. So to get something, 18 divided by 2 is 9, meaning that this other circle, I have to make it a width of 9. So you can see it's 9, and it can now align immediate in the center of the other one. So it has to be some, sorry, Control Z. So I have to hold it down and align them together. So it's now aligned to the middle. Why is this still not in the middle? Is it my eye? Wait, 18 divided by 2 is not 9. 9 times 2, 18. So it's meant to be, this is 18. Control D. I have this. So I'll reduce it. This thing is still not giving me what I want. So let me come down and do it again. So I have this. Control D. I have a duplicate. So I'll just reduce. You're having a challenge. So I have 18. Then I want another circle inside of it. Let me create without duplicating it. I have 9. There. But if this is 18, double of it should give me. So we're having 18 divided by 2. Yeah, it's 9. So why is this thing not? Okay, I think it has aligned. Something that should be in center of it should be 9. Okay. Yeah, it's aligned now. In, we'll have this at 9. So we're having something like this, which is similar to what we have here. Which is similar to what we have here. But the first method we tried will not give us this spacing around it. The first method we tried, let me duplicate this and show you what the first method is giving us. If I give it a stroke, now it has a stroke. Can you see it? But this one, there's no space between this white one and the red one. So this is our method. You could see some designs that have it, but we're trying to replicate exactly what we had in the other one. So that was why. And now that we have this and we have this, these two things, they are meant to be working together. Can see I'm moving it together because I selected the two layers at the same time. That is why the move tool can move it around. So now that they are now a unit together, I have to join them together so that I can't, in case of I'm doing any other thing, I don't mistakenly move it. So now that I have selected these two layers, I need to join them together, not merge, but group. So what we're going to do is to group them so that they can be moving as a unit. So Control G will group them. So it's just like a mini frame that is now housing both of them. Then when I click on the frame, I can now see the both of them again. But if I want to move them, I now move them as a unit. So they can now move as a unit. Now that we have this, I think why this thing is looking to be is because I'm zoomed in or zoomed out. Okay. So now we have this. Then we also have the other three. So we have to duplicate again. And now we have this. So we're having something similar to this. So that's where another step comes in now. We have these three things. Remember that this one is bigger than all these ones. And we have to move with them. And also, we need to, you can see that the shade for this is dark, like it's faded to bring, and this is where contrast comes in. Now we've applied contrast to this. Remember we talked about principle of design. We've applied contrast to this to make it stand out in different ways, the size, and then the elements is looking totally different from these other ones. But also at the same time, we want the whole attention to be in it. So we need to reduce either the opacity of this. Let's go with 70. We faded it out. Some people can go with 60. So we want attention to be on this very one first because that is the page we're currently on. You could go with opacity. Some people would go with reducing the color, like fade, looking for another color shade. So you can see at first I worked with D9 and reduced the opacity. But I'm just trying to tell you that most times some people will not even go with D9. They can just go with a darker color to reduce, to fade off the ones that are not currently activated. So that being said, and that thing is now to arrange these three things. So I'm going to hold down this shift key and click at these three things at the same time. So we are seeing that the spacings between them is 2. So when you select the three of them, this property affects the three of them. So here it's asking me to align them horizontal center. So if I click on it, they are currently horizontal center. If I need to increase the spacings between them, I will do 4. So 4 will shift. If I need to increase this, let me do 24. You can see how the spaces are being affected. So I'm going to do 6 and let me do 8 and see what 8 gives me. Okay, 8 is too far apart, so I'll go with 4. So now that I have done this, I still want these things to go as a group so that I don't mistakenly start moving each of them apart. They are a group. I need them to serve as a group. So I also group these three things together as Control G. So now we have them as a group. It's this group two is housing this first one that is already a group, and is also housing these two individual ones. So if you click, anytime I click group two, they will move as group two. So now that they are group two, they are currently not in the middle. They are currently not in. So it all depends on how you want to design your own. But currently, we are trying to achieve what was done here. So if you bring it here, Figma will tell you, yes, you are in the middle. Or if I don't want to drag it that way, I can just click align. Then Figma will align it for me without me stressing much. So that is that. Then another thing we should perfect before we move to the next two is the spacing between this one, and this one. So if I click on this one and hold down my shift key and click on this, let me confirm if we're still in the class. So, okay, we're still in the class. The class is still going on. Okay, so if I click between, if I hold down my shift key and click this, it's telling me that the spacing between these two things is 13, and I can see it here that the spacing between them is 13. So I want the spacing between them to be 16. So it's when working with spacing in Figma, it's advisable to work with the multiples of 8, like 8, 16, 32, 64, to help have an even number. You When we start doing this more, you see it will start you'll start having a feel of it. So now that we have this, I'm putting this as 16. So I'm going to group these two elements together, Control G. I have this group 3. So if I blind group 3, you can see that this has gone because I have named them group 3 to move together. So if I'm holding down group 3 now and I click on this other one, it's telling me that the spacing between group 3 and this group 2, which is the element of this, is 55. So it's too much. I want it to be 32, which is also a multiple of 8. So now that we have this, I can now say Control G. I'll still group them together. So when I blind group 4, you can see that group 4 is having all those things together. So this group 4, I'm saying align perfectly, and yes, I'm having this. So whenever I call group 4, all of them will come as group 4 now because I've grouped and grouped and grouped, and we've created them to be group 4. So I don't know if you understood, but if you have any question, just rewind, or you can ask currently on the chat so I can reply to it. So now that we've done this, remember that I duplicated this from this. So I just duplicated and only changed the size, but I want it to have a different font size. This one is in medium regular, and this one is also medium regular. They can't be having the same um, class. There's seniority in this thing. This one is a senior, and this one, it's also junior in terms of size, but I want it to be junior in terms of font type. So I'll click on this, come to the regular, or come to here, and you can see what I'm trying to say. You can see what I'm trying to say. So I'll come here and give it Poppins light. So now I have achieved what I want to achieve. You can see that we're looking at it. You can see that, okay, this is the title, and this is the subtitle. And also in terms of color, if you want to reduce the color, you could reduce the color just to create more hierarchy and contrast. If that's what you want in your design, I'll just click my color stop. Let me do what I just did again. Hold on. Let me close this off. Okay. So I tapped on this and it showed me this. And I want to change the color of this text from pure white to this color that I have here. So I'll just, now that this text is currently activated, I'll tap this color picker, come here and tell it that I want you to take this color as your new color. Can you see how it changed it? So, but currently, this thing is not readable, so I don't want it like this. So I'll take it back to white. You should go back to white. But I'm just trying to tell you how to use the color picker in terms of in a case where you have something you need to pick a color from. So now that we have this, the next thing we have is the skip and the next button. So my problem with this particular design is that the skip should not, mm, to redesign it to my own taste, this skip should not have a background. It's a secondary action button. What I want the user to do in my app is for them to be moving forward to see all these beautiful other designs that I have. So I wouldn't want their attention to be on the skip button. But in this design that we have here, the attention is both on the skip button and the next button. So to redesign it to be a functional design, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here, Control C, copy this, come out and paste. So I have this. So I'm going to rename it to skip because I want consistency in my design. I don't want font size of 12, blah blah blah, this thing. So I'll just copy and just rename without wasting even time and effort. So I have this, and the next thing we have is this and that. So you can see that in this our new design, the skip is there, but I'm going to make the attention to be on this next arrow. Yes, I want, if the user is, if the person using the app is too busy to scroll, and they should find the skip button themselves. But I want, as the designer or as the app owner, I want them to see the other functionalities of the app. So I want to put more attention in what I want them to do, not the skip. So in this particular design, I'm trying to say that this designer is causing confusion. Like he's not preaching the gospel of what the app needs, what the user of the app needs to do. That's basically what I'm saying. And now I'm going to create for this. So to create for this now, I'm going to get my circle. Okay, let me leave it at 40, and then if it's too big, I'll reduce it. So I'm having this, and then I'll place it here. So the next thing we need is an arrow. So for this arrow, there are different ways you can get it. Um, okay, let me just teach you the manual way. So I can just click here, get my pen tool. This pen tool helps you to draw things, move things around, create shapes and whatnot. So this is what pen tool you can do with your pen tool. So, but in today's class, I'm not going to use pen tool for this. What I'm going to do is to draw a straight line. So I'll get my pen tool, tap and tap and click enter. So I've just created a line with my pen tool. So you can see that I've created a line. So I'll drag this line inside here. I'll drag the line inside here. You can see that it is too long. So I'll reduce the size, then move it properly. But you can see that this our line doesn't have arrowhead. It doesn't have arrowhead. So what I will need to do is the line is activated. I'll come to the stroke properties and give it an arrowhead. So you can see that here the arrowhead is going backwards. So I'll go take it back to none and click this other option that is addressing the left hand side. So I can click my arrowhead to be this, or you can see the different these things they have, but you know that on a proper professional ground, these are the two things that addresses what that fits what we're trying to achieve. So either you choose this first one or you choose the second one. So, and with that, we've created our arrow. So now that we've created these two things, we need to group them together, this and this, because they are meant to be moving as a unit. So I'll click this and this, hold down my shift key, and let me use scale tool to reduce them a little because I think it's too big. Yes. So I'll now do Control G. So I have them as a unit. I have them as a unit. So another thing I would want to do is to have this skip and this unit on the same straight line. So what I need to do is click on this code skip. You can see that they are not on a straight line. So I'll just come here and say align vertical center, and Figma will align it. You can see that they are now on the same line. And now I also need them to move on a different as a different group. So I'm going to do Control G, and now they can move down. So we have this. So congratulations on successfully creating your first onboarding screen. So now I've created my onboarding screen. What next? I need to create the second one. So to create the second one, I don't need to come and start doing these things I've been doing again. And that is where consistency comes in play in your design. I don't know if you can hear me. I'm saying that this is where consistency comes in or plays a key role. Rather than recreating all these things we've been doing, we've created one perfectly. What we need to do is to duplicate it, Control D. We've duplicated it, and Figma is recognizing it as onboarding screen 2. So the only difference now is that we need to get this milkshake image and replace it with the one we have here. So I'm going to come here and click milk shake image. So we've clicked milkshake. We have different cups of milkshakes. So I'll just choose the one that I like or the one that illustrates what. Okay, so I'm going. So for this strawberry one, I'm going to do Control C to copy it. So I've copied it and I'm coming back to my Figma now. So in my Figma, I want this strawberry one to replace this the image in this second frame two. So for this frame two now, I'll open frame two, locate the image. So in frame two, look at the image here. If you blind it, you can see that it has blinded. Image two now is currently this image in onboarding screen two is now activated. So I'm going to do Control Shift R. Control Shift R will immediately replace it with that new image I have copied. So Control Z, let me repeat what I just did. Another method to do it is that I've selected the image, so I'll right click. So if you right click, Figma will give you the option to paste, to replace. So if you just paste normal, it will go and stay on top of. Let's do place normal. Can you see? Figma just placed the image there. But this is not what we want. We want the image to replace the one that was already there before. So I'll do Control Z. I'll come here, right click, and you can see place to replace. So this place to replace will replace the image that is there with the new one you've copied. And the shortcut is Control Shift R. So I'll tap on this and I have this. So the only thing remaining now is for me to use my scale tool to reduce the image. Is to use the scale tool and reduce my image to give me what I want. And that is that. So you can see that I've successfully changed this image. So and that thing left is for you to change the write-up. So we are having the write-up to be chill with sweet treats. So you can see. So instead of you've already created one perfect onboarding screen, you don't need to come and start recreating the same thing for the second one. That's where smart working comes in. It's now to start duplicate and change the text to suit that. So the next one we have is dive into a world of refreshing. So I'm going to select and start writing dive into a world of refreshing, comma, creamy ice, ice creams in a variety of mouth watering flavors. And then we have full stop. We have what we need. So the next one now is where it's tricky. There's a better way to do this next one. There's a better way to do it, but I'm trying to take you guys through the basic level first. But to I'm going to introduce that better way right now, but I need you to pay detailed attention. So remember that we have this group two. We have it as a group. Now, if you open the group two, you see the elements inside it. Good and fine. But for me to show that this, I mean, screen two, because you can see here that screen two has this thing in the middle telling you that we're in screen two. So how we can just do it, okay, I'll not introduce the higher level of doing it now. So let's just do continue with what we've been doing, which is the copy to replace. So this one I want this one, which is group two. Remember that, oh, sorry, group one. Remember that this group one has these two things inside it. Good and fine. So this group one now, I'll copy it. Control C. I'll copy it. I'll now come to this second one and now do Control Shift R. So Control Shift R. Sorry, Control Z. I'll copy this one, then come here and say Control Shift R. I've placed it there. Then for this other one, Control C. I'll come here and say Control Shift R. So I'm having this. So are you seeing that we now have what we have? Let me confirm the spacings between them. Okay, spacings between them is 4. So it's still accurate. The spacing between them is 4. So it's accurate. And I'm ensuring that they are aligned to the center. And they are aligned to the center. So you can see how we've just ensured that we display properly that this particular screen belongs to onboarding screen 2. So for the onboarding screen 3, what do we need to do? Just duplicate. So Control D, we've duplicated. So what do we need to do? We need to find another different image to indicate that we are in onboarding screen 3. So we're going to look for eyes, refreshing eyes water. So I'll come to Pinterest and type fresh eyes water with mint leaves. So let's see what it shows. Okay, so it's showing us this. So it's now left for us to decide which one we want to go with. So, like, one thing with coming to Pinterest that you see a lot of beautiful colors and you'll be overwhelmed. You even feel like seeking to drink, have one sip right away. Well, if you are thirsty or you're beginning to salivate, I'm sure you know what to do. Look for the nearest hotel or bar in your area that provide these services and get started. So quickly, to avoid any temptation on my own side, I'm just quickly going to select one and move ahead. So now that we have this, I'm going to copy the image. Right click to copy. Remember that I say you can save directly to your system. Okay, so let me do direct saving now. I want to show you another method. So I'm going to save this directly to my system. So I'm saving this to my system. Okay, now that. So the image is selected. So for this one, I'm not going to do copy and replace. I'm going to use this opportunity to show you another different method of bringing in the image rather than copy. That's when you did save directly to your laptop. But for this second one, I did copy. For this third one, I downloaded the image direct to my system. So right now the image is selected and the properties of the image is what is being displayed. So I'll just come to the image and ask to upload from my computer. So I have upload from my computer. I'll select and it has uploaded. So there are different methods to kill a rat. So anyone you feel like moving with, you are at liberty to do. So I'm going to change the text to fresh with every sip. Then the write up says, enjoy zesty mojito crafted with fresh mint. Enjoy zesty mojitos crafted with fresh mint. Uh-huh. The next one reads lime and cool vibe for your perfect pick me up. So enter limes and cool vibes for your perfect pick me up. So we're having this. Isn't it beautiful? Congratulations once more. You've gotten to your third onboarding screen. So what is now left to differentiate this screen and this screen and this screen is this their zero icon. So what I'll just need to do is I'll just copy Control C, I'll Control Shift R to copy to replace. Then I'll come here and copy this one, copy group two, then come here, sorry, Control Shift R, then align them to the center, and the spacings between them is 4. So we have that. And congratulations, we've created our first splash screen, first onboarding screen, the third one. And the next one is, let me show you what the next one usually look in some certain apps. So here you can see this thing. So here you can see what happens here. I told you in our third class that this is just a last page of what an onboarding screen looks like, and that was what was displayed here. So in creating onboarding page, you've told the user that these are the things they get to have if they apply for the if they access this business through the mobile app. So we need an action button to tell them to get started. And that is what this third one does. So when you've created your onboarding screen, we have the splash screen, the first onboarding, the third, first, second, and the third onboarding. We need the final onboarding, which is Control D to have that. And this final onboarding is the one that prompts them to take action, that is telling them to get started. So in this last one, they are no longer skipping and they are no longer going to the next. So we don't need this one in the last onboarding. And for this, our last onboarding, we need a different to show that, yes, voila, congratulations, you've gone through our onboarding section, you've understood what our application is all about. It is time for you to either register or to log in. So that is what we'll be doing in the fourth onboarding screen now. So for this fourth onboarding screen, we are coming back to Pinterest and we are searching for coffee cup, steamy coffee, so that we'll use it because the app is all about coffee, even though we offer other services, even though we offer other services in our business. Coffee is still our main brand, and so that is an image we are going to be using. That is the image we'll be using for our final onboarding page. So So my this thing is loading and it's slow. Why is this thing slow? Let me refresh and okay. So I just refreshed my browser and the image is popping up. So now I love this particular image. At least it shows that it's showing that yes, you've gone through our mobile app and it's time to get started to serve you that particular page. So I'll just quickly come back to my on the image. I'll just do Control Shift R and we'll have our image placed. Then it's time to tailor it to suit the frame. So we have this. Choose your favorite coffee, or we could go with something different. It's time. So I could go with this. It's time to take. So I'll align it to the center. Okay, happening here. I'm trying to align to the center, but it is not. Okay, it's adjusting a little because it's inside of a frame. Sorry, it's inside of a group. So I have to align the group to the center first. It's still not aligning because it's inside of another group called group 4. So I have to align group 4 to the center for other ones to take shape. So I don't know if you understood what just happened here, but if not, just rewind and you understand. I was trying to align it to the center because it was not aligning, but it couldn't move much because it is a child inside of another group that is inside of another group. So for me to move it, I have to move the first group to second group for it to move properly. Or in a situation where it's not working, you can just manually find solution to it. Then we have this. So basically, I'm just going to ungroup. So if I find out that it's disturbing my listing, I'll just right click and ungroup all this group. So I'll ungroup it so that they can be existing on their own for now. So this one, I will not be needing this again in this last phase. So I'll delete it. Then for this one, I need to ungroup them for now. Let me get what I want perfectly and I can group them back. So now they are existing individually. So to ungroup something, you just right click and you see the ungroup option. Then back to here. So I'm saying it's time to taste flavors and I have it in this format. And this one says the best. So I'm going to say, okay, the best coffee seeds Let me just quickly write what is here. Let's not waste time. The best grain, the finest roasts, the most powerful flavors. So I will just, and the most powerful flavor. So we have this. So remember that the spacing that we gave between this and this is 16. So I will ensure that I have the same spacing here. And you can see that in this one that I ungrouped, I've made the spacing 22, and that's not what I want. So I'll take it back to 16. And now Control G, I've made it a group again. So the difference now is that, so that's where we need to get our rectangle. So I'm going to get my rectangle right now, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. So now that I've drawn a rectangle, I need the edges to be curvy. And this is where under appearance, we have it. So I'm going to go 50. And 50 is giving me a rounded shape. So that's where the question comes up. We have black color. We've been using black color all this while. Now, what is the brand color? Is the brand color just black? Are we going with just black and white? Are we going with black and yellow? Are we going with, so this is where the questions of what is the brand color? Because that the brand color is what you need to reflect on these buttons. So if we're going for a coffee brand that is just black and white, um, you can see here that it's three, the coffee in this particular sample. You can see that they're using this shade of brown to denote that this coffee, this is a, like, is a coffee app sample that I have here. The brand color is white and green, and you can see how they're using white and green in everything they are doing. Even in the buttons, um we have the green being reflected. So that's the questions of, that's when you ask the question using. So in this situation now, that's because we are doing a test and I'm not sure of what particular shade of colors I want to use. I'll just quickly adopt this brown and see how it works. If it's not good, I can change it. Then this rectangle is currently selected. So, and use my color picker and pick a color and see what it looks like. Okay, so this is not bad. This is not bad. So we're going to be using this as our brown color. So also, I'll now do the same thing for this for this icon here, Control V, so that it can draw more attention to the user that this is the action I want you to take. So what I'll just need to do is just copy this, Control C, come here, Control Shift R to replace it, and Control Shift R to replace it. So with this, we have chosen what our brand color is going to be, and we am ensuring that it is consistent across our design. Then moving forward now, the next thing remaining is the get started, uh, wording in the button. So I'll just come here, Control C, copy, come here, Control V, because I'm not copying to replace, I'm copying to paste now. Just do Control V, and it will paste there. So I would now write get started. So here is another place. Okay, let me just keep this thing here. So now I want this thing to be aligned to the middle of this rectangle. So this one is currently selected. I'll hold down my shift key and tap the rectangle. So now I'm asking Figma to align this thing to the horizontal center and also to the horizontal vertical. So Figma will place it exactly in the middle of that thing, and it's correct and precise. So now I need them to move as a unit. So going to do Control G. Control G, they are now a unit. So they are now a unit, and I'll line them to the center here because okay, before I move, there's another problem here because this thing is not visible. You are seeing it clearly because I'm zooming in, but in terms of seeing with a light color, let me say what I just said. You have a bright background, which is this one, and you're writing with a bright color on that same thing. So it's not good. When you have a white color, you're not okay. Let's say we have a white wall. You have a white wall in your house and you're writing with a yellow marker on the wall. It's not visible. If you want people to see that thing clearly all the time, you have to go with a dark color. And that's where we're now going to change this to a black color. And you can see that it is more clearer. So somebody will just see it easily. But if you use light color on a light background, it's messy. So when you have a dark background, use the light color. If your room is black and somebody writes any color on the wall, you will see it quickly. But if your room is white and someone writes with a white something on the wall or a light colored uh, color, you might not see it easily. But we want, this is an application, this is something we are building to attract customers. We want visibility immediately. So we don't play around with this kind of thing. So we're going with a black color. And you can see the same thing in our this thing, showing you that we need immediate action and we need clarity, something that is very clear that will not require multiple explanation. So we have this and we've grouped it as a unit. So I'll bring it up. So I'm going to check the spacing between this and this. So this one is already a group, this one is already a group. I'll click on the both of them and we can see that the distance between them is 35. So I want them to be 32 and we have this. Because even this place, the distance between them is 30. Why did I make it 31? So 32. Then the distance between here. No, Control Z. I think I missed something up. The distance between this, sorry, I had this and this because you have to click them individually. So the distance between this and this, okay, saying 31, I'm going to making it 32. So the distance between this and this is saying 29, I'm making it 32. Remember, we're working with multiples of 8. The distance between this and this, yeah, this one is correct. So I think this one's changed when I was typing it out. So you have to ensure that they are correct or at all time. So you can see that our design is having shape and this is introducing you to get started. So when this get started is clicked, that's where we have things like this. It's what their fourth onboard used as their own get started. So when you click on our get started, in our next class, which is tomorrow, we'll be designing this, this, and how to follow up into the application. So if you have any question, okay, Ma, can I ask what laptop is best for design if possible? Um, any laptop, any laptop that has up to 4 gig and above is good. Just ensure that the battery is okay and it has internet connection. So I don't know if you have any other question in today's class, but it's already 1 hour and I know our classes on the normal should not be getting to this 1 hour, but I'm taking my time to explain it to a child in the most basic form, because also I know that we are not in the same physical space or proximity, and most of you will be having questions, and to avoid those questions, that's why I usually go to the basic of the basic to ensure that even a dummy can understand what I'm saying. So what you just need to do is to calm your mind and be paying attention to what I'm saying and following through. So in today's class, we've successfully designed 3 onboarding pages, and I've shown you the process to which we arrived to what we have. And I know our next class should be on Friday, but on Friday, I have another program that I'm attending and I won't be available. I'll be leaving early in the morning. So, in order to accommodate and ensure that we don't miss out in this week's class, our class will also be holding tomorrow at the same time. So, in that class, we'll be discussing and be designing the pages that follow through after the onboarding. So, if you download an app, the splash screen, the onboarding get started. If I click get started, if I have an account in that application before, I should just log in. So if I don't have an account in that application before, I should have the ability to register so that the application can have my details and I can proceed. So we are going to be designing the login page and the sign up page. And when you've successfully gone through these two steps, depending on the one that suits or fits your scenario or your situation, the next thing is to introduce you into what the application looks like. So we'll be doing that in tomorrow's class, and hopefully, um, I'm trustful that you people understand what today's class was all about. But if you still have any question or anything that requires clarity, you are free to use the chat box and let me know. So if that is all, okay. So I don't know. If you have question, just drop it in the drop it. You can just say hi if your question is long, then we'll know that you are typing it out while you continue with your typing. But if not, I will assume that you have no questions and today's class was clear and proper. So with that being said, thank you very much for attending to this class and see you in tomorrow's okay, thank you, Amara. Thank you. Thank you. So uh take care everyone and have a wonderful day. Bye.